If they've moved on, why are they still watching your stories? We like to believe that once a relationship ends, the emotions pack up and leave too, but that's rarely how the human heart works. Sometimes the body walks away, but the feelings stay rooted, haunting their social feeds, their memories, their sleepless nights. Have you ever wondered if your ex still thinks about you, if they still care, even a little? It's a thought that shows up uninvited, especially late at night, or after seeing their name pop up in a notification. Maybe they liked your recent post. Maybe a mutual friend mentioned them. Maybe they messaged you out of the blue with a, "Hey, how are you?" Coincidence or something more? In this video, we'll explore 10 subtle but telling signs that your ex might still be in love with you. These signs won't always be obvious. In fact, some of them are wrapped in hesitation, ego, or even silence. But when viewed through the lens of emotional psychology and with a touch of Stoic clarity, you'll begin to see the truth. Why this video matters. Most people get stuck in the same emotional loop after a breakup. They either chase closure endlessly, or they cling to hope in the smallest gestures. But hope without wisdom is dangerous, and that's where the Stoics offer a better lens. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This video isn't just about figuring out if your ex loves you. It's about learning how to interpret their behavior without losing your inner peace. It's about recognizing emotional patterns without letting them dictate your worth. We're not here to rekindle false hope. We're here to give you insight. What you'll learn. The psychological cues that show your ex might still care. Real-world stories of exes reconnecting or finally letting go. How to stay grounded no matter what signals they send. When to engage and when to move forward with clarity. Whether you're secretly wishing for reconciliation or you just want to understand why your ex is acting so weird, this guide will help you decode what's really going on. Before we dive in, one Stoic truth to hold on to. Don't hope that events will turn out the way you want. Welcome events in whichever way they happen. This is the path to peace. Epictetus. No matter what the signs say, your peace does not depend on someone else's feelings. If they still love you, it will reveal itself. If they don't, your self-worth remains untouched. Let's begin with sign #1, the way they watch your online life without saying a word. She hasn't texted you in weeks. No calls, no follow-ups, no apologies. But last night she watched your story again. No comment, no like, just the silent stamp of her presence viewed. And maybe it's the 4th time this week, or the 10th. She doesn't reach out, but she sees everything. And whether you admit it or not, it messes with your head. You find yourself thinking, if she doesn't care, why is she still watching? You start wondering, is this a sign, a signal, a breadcrumb? But here's what you need to understand. Just because someone sees you doesn't mean they want to stand beside you again. In the digital age, people don't need to be in your life to still hover around it. A view, a like, a random comment on an old post. It all feels like something, but most of the time it means nothing. And that's what makes it dangerous. It gives you hope without clarity. It gives you presence without intention. You start creating meaning where there is none, because your heart still wants the story to continue. But man, don't confuse curiosity with care. Don't mistake watching for wanting. So why does she still watch? The reasons are rarely romantic. Maybe she's bored. Maybe she's lonely. Maybe she just wants to make sure she's still on your mind. Or maybe she just got used to having a front row seat to your life and hasn't let go of the habit yet. But none of those reasons are enough to base your self-worth on. Let me tell you a story. A guy I know, let's call him Matt, broke up with his girlfriend after 2 years. Clean cut, no cheating, no screaming match, just slow emotional drift. 3 weeks later, she watched every single one of his gym stories. Then started liking his posts again. So he started posting more. Better angles, subtle thirst traps, a few deep quotes about growth and pain. She kept watching. She never messaged. And after 2 months, when he finally sent her a "Hey, how have you been out of weakness?" she didn't reply. Turns out she had started seeing someone else. She just hadn't unfollowed him yet. That was the day Matt learned a lesson most men learn too late. If she's not showing up in your life with clarity, don't let her live in your head with ambiguity. The Stoics had a word for this kind of distraction: externals. Things outside your control. Things that pull you off your path. Aurelius said you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. She watched your story. Cool. Now get back to your purpose. You need to treat her digital attention like background noise. Not a message, not a mission, not an invitation. Because if she truly wanted to reconnect, she wouldn't just watch. She'd reach out. She'd speak. She'd act. And you, as a grounded man, should only respond to action, not signals, not shadows. You might be thinking, but I still care. I still miss her. What if she's scared to reach out? Let's be real. If someone is too scared to send a message, they're not ready to be in a relationship again. Love requires courage. You deserve someone who chooses you in daylight, not someone who tiptoes in your notifications at 1 a.m. So what should you do? Here's the protocol. Don't react. A view is not a request. Stay calm, stay indifferent. Mute or unfollow if needed, not for revenge, for peace. If her attention destabilizes, you protect your focus. Keep building. Let her watch you rise. Let her see what she gave up. But don't perform for her. You're not a show. You're a man building a life. A modern man's strength isn't just in his body, it's in his emotional discipline. Don't let a breadcrumb throw you off the path. You're not here to chase ghosts. You're here to master yourself. And if one day she does reach out clearly, directly, vulnerably, you'll know how to meet her. Or not. But until then, let her watch and keep walking. It always starts the same way. Out of nowhere, she texts you. Maybe it's just a hey. Maybe it's a meme you two would have laughed at 6 months ago. Maybe it's something like, just thought of you when I saw this. And suddenly your heart skips. She's back. Or is she? Before your mind runs 10 miles ahead, stop. Breathe. This moment is where a lot of men fall into the trap. She reached out. That much is true. But what it means, that's a different story. See, when a woman reaches out after disappearing from your life, there are only a few real possibilities. She might be feeling lonely. She might be reminiscing. She might be drunk. She might genuinely miss you. And the most dangerous part, you don't know which one it is. Not yet. This is why emotional discipline matters. It's easy to let your feelings write the story. But a man grounded in reality knows to look at patterns, not moments. One message doesn't mean she wants you back. It just means she thought of you. Don't confuse a memory with a mission. Let me tell you a real example. Chris hadn't heard from his ex in 3 months. Then one morning she texted, "Did you ever finish that series we started?" Chris felt something stir inside. That show had been their thing. Late night marathons, inside jokes, cuddled up on the couch. He responded. They talked a bit, some laughs, some nostalgia. But the moment Chris tried to bring up their breakup or anything real, she changed the subject. 3 days later, she ghosted again. She didn't come back for him. She came back for the feeling. And once she got a taste of that comfort, she was gone. A Stoic would say, attach yourself to what is within your control. Detach from everything else. You can't control why she messaged, but you can control what it means to you. Here's the truth. A woman who wants to be in your life will show you consistently, not just in late-night texts or random check-ins, but in follow-through, in effort, in presence. One message isn't effort, it's just curiosity knocking on your door. Whether you open it or whether she even stays is a different matter entirely. Let's talk strategy. When she reaches out, ask yourself 3 questions before you respond. Am I feeling calm or hopeful if you're only replying because you miss her weight? What is the pattern of her behavior? Has she reached out before and disappeared again? What do I actually want from this conversation? Do I want answers, closure, a second chance? Or just to feel seen again? Clarity before response, always. Now let's say you do respond. Watch how she continues the conversation. Is she just tossing out nostalgia? Does she bring up the past but avoid accountability? Or does she speak directly? Is she asking about your life, your growth, your truth? Women who want real connection don't talk in circles, they speak with intent. But here's a deeper truth most men won't admit. Sometimes we want her to reach out not because we love her, but because we want to feel like we still matter. We want proof we're unforgettable. But brother, you don't need her text to prove your value. You were already enough before her message, and you'll still be enough if she never sends another one. If you do want her back and she's reaching out genuinely, you'll feel it. Her words will carry weight. Her messages won't be vague. She'll ask to meet. She'll reflect. She'll show remorse or curiosity about your future. If she's not doing that, don't pretend this is a second chance. Some men treat every ping from the past like a resurrection, but most are just echoes, not returns. A message is not a reconciliation. It's a moment. Let her earn more than just your attention. Let her earn your energy. And if she's not willing to step up, then you step back. You don't chase someone who walked away. You don't beg someone to choose you twice. You stand, calm, clear, unshaken. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." So when she texts again, don't become reactive, become aware. You don't need to win her back. You only need to win back your own peace. She finally messaged you. You think maybe this is it, a real talk, some clarity, maybe even a shot at closure, or something more. But instead she says, "How's your mom doing?" Or "I saw your favorite band is playing next month." Or, remember that dog you used to pet outside our building? I passed by him today. She's talking, she's warm, maybe even a little flirty, but she's not saying what needs to be said. She's talking around it, not into it. And that right there is the game. This is what emotional avoidance looks like in real time. It's not always cold, it's not silent. Sometimes it's soft, familiar, even sweet. But it's empty. Because she's checking in on your world, but not her place in it. She's asking about the details, but avoiding the core. And if you're not careful, you'll fall into that emotional loop again, talking daily. Laughing lightly, always hoping she'll finally bring it up. She won't. Not unless she's ready to face what really happened between you two. Why does she do this? Because real conversations carry weight. To talk about your relationship means facing regret, guilt, fear, vulnerability. So she takes the easy way out. She talks about safe topics, childhood memories, favorite places, your dog. It feels personal, but it's not intimate. She's staying near the edges of your life without stepping into the center. Let me give you a real-world example. Leo hadn't heard from his ex in 2 months. Then she messaged him. Did your little brother end up choosing that university? They talked for 2 hours, movies, friends, his job, her weekend. Everything except the thing. Leo waited for her to ask, how are you really, or maybe do you ever think about us? She never did. And when he finally asked, why are you reaching out? She said, I just miss talking to you. Not I miss you, not I miss us, just the talking. That's when Leo understood she didn't want to rebuild anything. She just wanted to feel a little less lonely. And he was the easiest, safest option because he still answered. This is where a man must choose clarity over comfort. Because comfort feels good in the moment, but it keeps you stuck in the past. Clarity hurts short term, but it frees you long term. The Stoics would call this being ruled by externals, when you let another person's avoidance dictate your emotional direction. Instead, choose the internal. Truth, integrity, direction. If she wants to reconnect, she'll talk about it. Not dance around it, not hint, not breadcrumb. She'll bring it up like an adult. If she doesn't, then you have a decision to make. Do you keep responding to conversations that go nowhere? Or do you protect your mind from emotional loopbacks? Here's how to handle this like a grounded man. If you enjoy the light chat and feel zero expectations, fine. But the moment you start hoping for more, you need to call it out or cut it off. You can say, hey, I appreciate the messages, but unless we're talking about us, about what happened, I'd rather not keep revisiting old memories. Simple, direct, clear. No games, no manipulation, just a line in the sand. Marcus Aurelius wrote, if you seek tranquility, do less, do only what's essential. Endless text convos with an ex who won't face the truth, that's not essential. It's a trap. It keeps you emotionally connected to someone who isn't showing up with the same courage. Some women want the feeling of closeness without the responsibility of commitment. And if you allow it, they'll keep you right there half in half out until someone else comes along. Don't let that happen. You are not someone's backup plan. You are not someone's emotional hobby. You're either in her life fully or not at all. Remember this, silence isn't always disrespect, but pretending nothing happened between you, that is. If she can't talk about what matters, she's not ready for what comes next. And that's okay. But that also means neither are you. You don't need soft talk, you need real talk. You don't need warm echoes, you need honest answers. If she can't give that, don't chase it. Let her drift into the background where she belongs. And you keep building. She doesn't text you, she doesn't ask how you're doing, but she talks to your sister, or your best friend, or that one guy you both used to hang out with. She's not reaching out to you, but she's orbiting your world. And that, my friend, is not an accident. This is a strategy, conscious or unconscious, to keep a foot in the door without ever knocking. Some women don't want the weight of reconnecting, but they also don't want the feeling of being completely cut off. So they go through others. Check in casually. Drop your name in a conversation. Ask how you've been just enough to stay updated. You may think she's just being friendly, but no one stays in your circle by accident. This kind of behavior is subtle. It's not dramatic, it's not emotional, it's tactical. She wants to stay on your radar without having to deal with your reaction. It's a way of staying close enough to matter, but far enough to avoid responsibility. Let me tell you what that looks like in real life. My friend Marcus broke up with his girlfriend after 2 years. They stopped talking. No blocks, just space. But 2 weeks later, she DM'd his best friend Hope, your mom's doing better. Tell Marcus I said hi. That was it. No direct message, just a casual check-in through someone else. A few days later, she liked a comment on his cousin's Instagram, then replied to his sister's story with a heart emoji. She never spoke to Marcus, but she was everywhere around him. He told me it's like she's watching me through the people I care about. And he was right. Here's what you need to understand. Women who do this aren't necessarily being manipulative. Sometimes they're just afraid. afraid to reach out, afraid to be ignored, afraid you've moved on without them. So instead of walking through the front door, they peek through the windows. But here's the question you have to ask. Why is she doing this if she doesn't want to talk to me directly? There are usually three answers. She still has feelings but no courage. She wants to know if you're available without asking. She wants to be remembered without being vulnerable. Regardless of which one it is, here's your rule. If it's not direct, don't make it your concern. The Stoics would say, you always own the option of having no opinion. When she goes around you through friends, family, social circles, you don't have to respond emotionally. You don't have to ask, why is she doing this? You don't have to analyze every move. You observe it, you note it, and then you keep walking. Let her orbit. But don't let her pull you back into a system you already outgrew. And if your people bring her up, stay neutral. No bitterness, no fantasy, just grace. Yeah, I heard. Hope she's well. Then move on. Because the moment you engage emotionally, you give her power she hasn't earned. There's a quiet power in not reacting. When she realizes she can't get to you through others, she'll do one of two things. She'll step forward with honesty, or she'll drift away completely. Either way you win, because clarity is a gift, even if it comes through silence. Now let's be real. It's not always easy. When someone used to be a big part of your life, hearing their name through someone else can stir things up. But that's where discipline kicks in. That's where you remember you've already had the real thing. You don't need scraps from mutual friends. You don't chase whispers. You don't respond to echoes. You wait for words. You wait for presence. And if she won't bring those directly to you, she doesn't deserve a place in your attention anymore. One last thing. Sometimes this happens because you're still in her head, but not in her heart. She wants to feel connected, but she doesn't want to reconnect. That's a trap. Don't fall into the illusion of relevance. Choose the clarity of distance. So if she's texting your people, watching from the sidelines, floating in the periphery, you already have your answer. Because a woman who truly wants you back won't need a middleman. You walk into a place you used to go together. She's there. Hair done, makeup flawless, outfit on point, not overdressed, just intentional, subtle, calculated. You notice. You're meant to. She's not saying anything directly, but she doesn't have to. Because every detail about how she presents herself in that moment is a quiet message. Look at what you lost. Let's call it what it is, the reappearance effect. When someone knows they might run into you, they want that version of themselves to be unforgettable. Even if they're the one who left, even if they said they were done, there's still a part of them that wants to be seen, wants to be missed. This is attraction through image, nonverbal but very deliberate. And if you're not prepared for it, it can pull you right back into emotional confusion. Now, let's be clear. This isn't about vanity. This is about power. She wants to know, am I still on your mind? Do I still affect you? Do I still have that presence in your world? The right outfit, the right smile, the right scent, all designed to activate memories without reopening conversation. Let me give you a real scenario. Tyler ran into his ex at a friend's housewarming. They hadn't spoken in months. But the moment he walked in, he saw her wearing the exact perfume he once said he loved. She didn't talk to him all night, but she made sure to laugh a little louder, walk a little closer, catch his eye without holding it. She didn't want to reconnect. She wanted to remind, and it worked for a minute, but Tyler had done the work. He kept his posture. He nodded, smiled, and moved on. Later, she messaged, "You looked good tonight." He didn't reply. Here's the Stoic principle at play. Don't let appearance distract you from essence. Just because someone looks good now doesn't mean they're good for you again. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change. But if no one does, I will go on doing what I believe is right." Your focus is what you control. Her appearance, that's just stimulus. Your reaction, that's your power. When she puts in effort around you, it's a message, but not always one worth responding to. Sometimes it's simply a signal that she's watching to see if you're watching back. But don't reward surface-level signals with deep emotional energy. You're not 19 anymore. A tight dress or a new haircut isn't a reason to rethink the breakup. You don't fall for aesthetics, you look for substance. Ask yourself, has she changed her behavior or just her lipstick? Has she addressed the past or just upgraded her look? Is she offering presence or just performance? Because any woman can glow for one night. Only a real one will show up when life is messy, raw, and honest. Let her dress up, let her shine. Let her post it later with a caption like "unbothered." Smile. Because deep down you know if she really was unbothered, she wouldn't be dressing up for your ghost. Here's how to carry yourself in that moment. You stand tall, you stay calm, you acknowledge without attachment. You don't give her the reward of chasing, you don't look twice. You stay in command. Because a grounded man doesn't chase beauty, He recognizes it, respects it, and keeps walking towards something deeper. And if she really wants to come back, she'll do more than show skin. She'll show heart. She'll speak, apologize, explain, ask. Until then, appearances are just noise. Your silence is louder. Final thought. She may look better than ever, but you're not here to admire the packaging of the past. You're building something bigger, stronger, wiser. And if she wants back in, it takes more than a pretty dress. It takes truth. She texts you out of the blue. And it's not just hey, it's hey you. Or maybe she calls you that old nickname, the one only she used. Maybe it's troublemaker or babe or something only the two of you understood. And just like that, you feel it. The rush, the warmth, that old feeling creeping in. Your brain tells you to be cautious. Your heart starts writing stories again. Because deep down, those words didn't just sound sweet. They sounded like home. But here's the thing, brother. Words are cheap. Especially when they come without context, commitment, or consistency. When she starts slipping back into pet names and affectionate tones, don't just listen, read between the lines. Is she using these words to actually reconnect, or is she just trying to reopen a door without knocking? Some women use familiar language like a key. Not to build something new, but to unlock the part of you that still remembers how it felt. And if you're not careful, you'll mistake nostalgia for progress. Let's break it down. When she starts being sweet again, it could mean one of three things. She genuinely misses you and doesn't know how to express it directly. She wants emotional validation without emotional effort. She wants to feel like she could still have you if she wanted to. And the worst part? All three can sound exactly the same. Here's a real-world example. Aaron hadn't spoken to his ex in 5 months. Out of nowhere, she messaged him, "Hey, stranger." It hit him hard. That's what she used to say when she was being playful when things were good. So he answered. They talked for days, joked, flirted. She called him babe again. Until one night he asked, "Are we talking again, like for real?" She replied, "Haha, no, I just missed the vibe." And just like that, it was over. She was never planning on coming back. She just wanted to feel close without being close again. The Stoics had a saying for this. If someone is acting, don't get caught in the script. You have to recognize when someone's language is a performance. Not every kind word is sincere, not every sweet message is a seed. Some are just echoes. Echoes of a time that meant something, but doesn't mean anything anymore. So how should you respond? Simple. Stay cool, stay grounded. Match her words to her actions. If she's calling you honey but treating you like a stranger, don't take it seriously. If her tone is intimate but her behavior is distant, you've got your answer. Politeness is fine, flirting is flattering, but consistency is truth. And here's something you need to hear. Just because she's soft with her words now doesn't erase the silence she gave you before. A few emojis don't balance months of absence. A nickname doesn't rebuild trust. A grown man doesn't get pulled back in by lowercase hi and a wink face. He waits for clarity. He listens for accountability. Because love isn't a style of talking, it's a way of showing up. If you feel tempted to fall into the familiar, ask yourself, would she be using these words if she weren't losing access to me? Would she be this sweet if I hadn't gone silent? Or is this her way of seeing if the door's still cracked? If it is, close it. A man with standards doesn't reopen himself just because someone spoke in a soft tone. He requires more. Final thought. You know what's stronger than her calling you babe again? You not needing her to. You not craving validation from someone who wasn't consistent with you. You hearing those familiar words and walking away because they're not backed by anything real. You are not a memory she gets to play with. You are a future she has to earn back. It's been a while. You've been silent. She's been silent. Then suddenly she offers to help. Maybe she hears you're moving and says need an extra hand. Maybe you post about your car breaking down and she texts, "Want me to call someone for you?" Maybe she just checks in and says, "If you ever need anything, I'm here." Part of you softens. Because you remember she used to do that. The thoughtful stuff, the little things. And now it's back. Kindness, concern, care. But hold up. Before you interpret this as a green light to let her back in, ask yourself something. What's her intention? And more importantly, does her offer match her consistency, or is it a moment of emotional impulse? Here's the thing. Helping is one of the easiest ways to feel useful again without having to apologize, explain, or rebuild anything. For her, helping might feel like a shortcut back into your life. But for you, it can quickly become a gateway to confusion. Because let's be honest, when someone you cared about offers support, it lights something up inside you. We're wired that way. But that's also why it's dangerous. Because emotional re-entry often starts with, "I just wanted to help." Let's look at a real case. Jake hadn't talked to his ex since their messy split. One day he posted that he was sick with the flu. An hour later she messaged, "Do you need soup or something I can drop it off?" Jake said yes. She came by, they chatted, laughed a little. It felt warm again. But the next day, nothing, no message, no check-in, gone. She didn't want to reconnect. She just wanted to feel good about herself, to prove maybe to herself that she still had a place in his life. Once she got that feeling, she left. This is why Stoic discernment matters more than ever. Seneca wrote, "Nothing to my way of thinking is a better proof of a well-ordered mind than a man's ability to stop just where he is and pass some time in his own company. If her help unsettles your peace, if it clouds your focus, if it gets you hoping again, step back. You don't need her to rescue you. You're not broken. And you're not building a connection on charity. So why do women do this? Here are a few reasons. Guilt. She knows she hurt you and wants to ease her conscience. Validation. She wants to confirm she still matters to you. Control. She wants to feel like you still need her. Regret. She's wondering if she made the wrong choice. Real care. Yes, sometimes it's genuine. But here's the problem. You can't tell which one it is until it becomes a pattern. So how do you respond? With calm, with clarity, and with self-respect. You can thank her, you can acknowledge the gesture, but you don't let it reset the boundaries you built just because she brought soup or sent a contact for your mechanic. Gratitude doesn't equal emotional access. If she truly wants to be part of your life again, she'll do more than help with errands. She'll help with the hard stuff. Like owning her part in what went wrong, like asking how you're really doing, like facing awkward truths. Until then, let kindness stay where it belongs in the polite lane. Don't let it cross over into intimacy unless the intention is clear. And here's the hardest truth of all. Sometimes people offer help not because they love you, but because they miss the version of themselves they were when they were with you. They miss feeling good, useful, generous, caring. But none of that means they're ready to show up again as a partner. Sometimes they just want to feel needed again. That's not love. That's ego. You've worked too hard rebuilding your peace to trade it away for a moment of attention masked as concern. You don't need a savior. You need someone who stays. And if she's not showing up fully, you don't hand her the keys to anything, even if she says, "Let me help." Final thought. It's okay to accept help, but never let it reopen a bond that was never rebuilt. A man doesn't measure love by how sweet the gesture is. He measures it by how consistent the action is. If she can't show up when it matters, her help is just noise. Let her help, but don't let her back in. You're not doing great. Maybe someone in your family got sick. Maybe you lost your job. Maybe life just hit hard and you didn't see it coming. And then she appears. She messages. She checks in. She asks, "Are you okay?" or just wanted to see how you're holding up. And for a second it hits you. That warmth, that familiarity, that part of you that remembers she used to be your person in moments like this. And now here she is again, just when the world feels too heavy. But before you start thinking this is fate or some spiritual signal, pause. Because a woman showing up during your pain can mean many things. And not all of them are love. Let's be real. Pain changes everything. It softens us. It opens doors we had firmly closed. And when someone from your past shows up during that pain, you might mistake comfort for connection. But brother, there's a big difference. Comfort fills a moment. Connection builds a future. Let's talk about why she might be reaching out now. She still cares. That's possible. Some people do check in from a place of real compassion. She heard you were struggling, and it triggered her guilt. Sometimes people want to balance their karma, especially if they hurt you. She's nostalgic. Moments of vulnerability can bring back memories. She misses the feeling of being close, not necessarily you. She wants to feel important again. Being the person you lean on gives her a sense of relevance. Each of these can sound the same, but only one of them leads to anything real. Here's a story. Logan went through a rough patch when his father passed away. Out of nowhere, his ex sent a long message. "I heard what happened. I'm so sorry. If you need anything, I'm here." It felt genuine. They talked. She listened. He cried. For a few days, she was there again, calling, texting, checking in. But as soon as the dust settled, she disappeared. Logan wasn't angry. He understood. She didn't come back for him. She came back for the moment. And that was enough for her. But it couldn't be enough for him. This is where Stoic wisdom kicks in. Epictetus said, when something happens, the only thing in your power is your response. Your ex reaching out is not a decision for you to interpret emotionally. It's something to observe. Ask yourself, is she showing up with emotional consistency or just emotional timing? Is she offering support or trying to reconnect without responsibility? Don't let grief blur your standards. Your pain doesn't lower your value. If she truly wants back in your life, she'll stay after the storm passes. She'll be there in healing, not just in crisis. But if she disappears when you're back on your feet, then she was never there to stay. She just wanted to feel needed. There's a danger here. Because when you're vulnerable, even temporary kindness feels like love. Even a short message feels like a lifeline. But this is the moment you must be strongest. Not loud, not proud, just clear. You can say thank you. You can receive it. But you don't reopen your heart just because someone showed up when it hurt. A woman who broke you doesn't get to fix you unless she's ready to rebuild from the ground up. And if she's not saying, I want to be here fully for real, then all she's offering is momentary warmth. And you deserve more than that. Now here's the other side. If she is consistent, if she checks in support, stays honest, and asks for real connection, then that's worth paying attention to. But let her prove it, over time, through effort, not just sympathy. No one earns their way back through timing alone. They earn it through truth. Final thought. Don't confuse timing with transformation. Don't confuse attention with action. You're not here to be rescued. You're here to rise. Let her kindness be what it is, a kind gesture, but not a reason to hand her your peace. She showed up when you were down. Good. Now let her watch you get up on your own. You're in a random conversation, maybe by text, maybe in person, and she says something like, remember that weekend at the cabin, or I passed by the street where we used to get coffee, or you still listen to that song we used to play in the car. She's not saying I want to come back, but she's bringing the past into the present. And it's intentional. This is one of the quietest, most confusing signs that she's still emotionally tied to you. Because she's not just remembering, she's inviting you to remember with her. When someone brings up shared memories, it triggers emotion. It opens a door in your chest. You don't even have to respond deeply. Just hearing it stirs something up. That's why it's effective. She's reaching for a feeling. Not a plan, not a solution, just the familiarity, the closeness of what used to be. But here's where you have to slow down. Because not all nostalgia is love. Sometimes it's just loneliness. Sometimes it's boredom. Sometimes it's ego. Do I still live rent-free in your head? And if you react to every soft reference with hope, you'll end up circling a version of the past that doesn't exist anymore. Let's break it down. Why does she bring up the old days? Emotional safety. The memory is a shared space where you both felt good. Relevancy check. She wants to see if those moments still matter to you. Low-risk re-entry. It's easier to say, remember when, than I miss you. Soft control. If she knows the memories move you, she stays in control without being vulnerable. Real story. Ethan's ex used to send him random photos from their past. Old vacation pics, screenshots of playlists. No message, just the image. And he always replied, because it meant something to him. Until one day he asked, why do you keep sending me these? She said, I just like remembering. I don't want to get back together or anything. And that's when it clicked. She wasn't coming back. She just liked having emotional access to him without commitment. The Stoics remind us, do not stumble over something behind you. You can appreciate the past, but never confuse it with a path forward. If she only brings up old memories without showing new effort, she's playing in a museum, not building a home. And you're not an exhibit. You want to know if she still cares. Don't look at what she remembers. Look at what she's willing to rebuild. Memories without movement are just nostalgia loops. They feel good, but they don't go anywhere. If she brings up your old moments, stay calm. You can smile, acknowledge it, but don't interpret it as an invitation. If she wants to come back, she'll say it. She won't hide behind remember that time. You're not here to relive the past. You're here to create a future with someone who's all in. And if that's not her, let the memory pass and move forward. You've made it through every sign, every look, every text, every breadcrumb she left behind. And maybe, just maybe, you saw your story in these words. Maybe you've lived through every single one of them. But here's the truth most men never say out loud. It's not about whether she still loves you. It never was. The real question, the one that matters, is this. Do you still love yourself enough not to go back to what broke you? See, when a man gets broken by love, he often looks outward for validation. He checks her stories. He waits for a message. He looks for signals in every song, every coincidence, every dream. But the Stoics taught us a different path. A harder path. A path where peace doesn't come from her attention, but from your alignment. From knowing who you are, what you value, and where you're going with or without her. She may come back. She may not. She may mean every word she says now, or none of them. But the man you've become since the breakup, that man can't be shaken by a few sweet messages and long-lost memories. That man doesn't let someone return just because they miss what you made them feel without being ready to rebuild what they helped destroy. You've been through the silence. You've rebuilt your rhythm. You've learned what it means to stand alone and stay standing. Now you're not the same man she left, and that's not a threat. It's not a statement to hurt her. It's a quiet truth you carry in your chest. You don't chase what collapsed. You don't glorify what ghosted you. And you sure as hell don't lower your standards just because someone finally decided to look back. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Let her watch. Let her wonder. Let her send what she sends. But never let her back into a place that required blood silence and months of discipline for you to rebuild. Unless she's coming with truth. Unless she's showing effort. Unless she's done the work too. You don't owe anyone a second chance just because they remembered who you were in their darkest hour. You owe yourself a future that doesn't look like your past. So if you're watching this thinking, yeah, she still loves me, ask yourself something harder. Does she love you enough to stay this time? To choose you, to repair what was broken, to meet you in the life you've built without her? And more importantly, do you love yourself enough to wait for that version of her? Because anything less than that is just recycled pain. Final word. You're not defined by who reaches back. You're defined by what you stand for even when they do. Let her love you from afar. But if she wants to stand beside you again, she walks in with both feet, with full truth, with full effort. Nothing less. That's how a man protects what he's built. And that's how he keeps his peace.